Adison.
Billy, I feel like we have, woo, well, we nothing. You have crossed every mountain range in the United States of America to get this live going.
I'm not 100% certain it's working. I mean, we have we had all sorts of problems getting started today, and I'm doing my dangest. Oh, we got to make it public to the people. That would certainly help. There we are. Now we're live. Hello, Addison.
Billy, so much props to you right now. I was passenger princess in this whole technology debacle, but I think you crossed every mountain range in the United States to get to this live. But we're here. This is new to all of us.
Well, I hope the people are able to find us here. I have to check in with some people who have been waiting elsewhere to join us. My gosh, if you held on and you're watching today, thank you very much. As you can see, this is a normal look. We had to resort to cell phones because of just a slew of problems that I wasn't able to figure out, but I really wanted to get us online here today. But to do so, we're going to be without some of our best assets. We're not going to have access to the clips. I don't think I have access to getting the comments on the screen, but we'll still be able to do a Q&A and all those things as well. So, and I can talk to you in the chat, which is nice.
You know, we're going to have to go back to old school. Before we used to go live and we didn't have to add the clips and stuff. So we're having to, at least we're here, right?
Yeah, so give me a thumbs up, thumbs down if the sound quality is good or bad in the chat there, and we'll kind of keep going because we have a big show starting with some breaking news, Edison. Cue the breaking news music. That's right, we don't have breaking news music. Landman Season 3 confirmed. We're going to be back for Landman Season 3, likely in 2026. No other details. Obviously, this is not a huge shock, but at least we know that we're coming back next year.
Yeah, I was about to say, Billy, not to poo-poo on your parade, but we did kind of know that already. But that's okay.
Yep. Well, I thought it was still pretty big. We hadn't had a chance to talk about it. And, you know, Billy Bob Thornton has kind of said he's committed for a couple years. Sam Elliott, I think, let it link that he was going to be coming back for Season 3 as well. So that sort of says a little bit about the fate of his character. And presumably all the majors, if you had to predict one death in Season 2, one character or actor who won't make it to Season 3, who would it be?
Cooper.
Really? You think Cooper's going to die?
They're not going to kill off Angela and Ainsley. I think to put the two space cadets and as the ones who get killed, you got to have one that people are. Let's be real. People would have praised if Monica had been killed on Yellowstone. I hate saying it like that, like casually, but everyone was kind of annoyed with her. Similar to Angela and Ainsley, TikTok knows what I want, and TikTok's been giving me all the Landman, fun like red carpets or any press that they're doing, and all the comments consistently are like, "I'm so done of Angela and Ainsley." Everyone's frustrated, and so I'm like, if you kill off one of them, then you're kind of just giving the people what they want. Who do you think's going? Oh. Yeah, unfortunately, you are really freezing. But this brings me back to the days when Billy's Wi-Fi wasn't that great. Not to rat on you when you're lagged and you can't jump in and say anything, but yeah, you are a little delayed. Unfortunately. No, I fear not. No, but at least I can hear your speech was a little pixelated, but I can hear you. You just are a little like the words. You look like a slow moving train. Okay. Ooh. Wait, what? Oh, that one's kind of low-hanging fruit. Some people in the comment section think it's gonna be Rebecca the lawyer, which that one I actually could see. Like, we're enough emotionally involved with her, but it's not a Cooper, and so I could see her going. Galeno, like, who cares about Galeno? Just saying.
Well, okay, fair enough. We'll get to that another day. What do we got coming up on this episode?
Alrighty, we are going to be talking about you've got a little conspiracy theory to share, and I am fascinated because Billy did not let me know of this one before we decided to jump into this. So I'm excited to hear about that. We're gonna, run through what we saw in this episode and the couple that you're so excited to talk about because you're so excited to talk about this couple every single episode. And then of course we're going to talk episode 5 because we've got to talk about what we think is going to happen. Neither one of us have seen the screener for episode 5 yet. So we're going in blind a little bit on our predictions.
It would appear a big catastrophe is coming at some point.
Is that via a trailer that you watched and I did not watch?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
that's exactly what it is.
Let's start with last week's trivia.
Trivia. Each and every week we do a trivia question, and the winner of the trivia question, we select one winner from all correct answers who is going to get a Dutton Rules podcast t-shirt. Now, there's a couple of different styles, a train station t-shirt, a RIP t-shirt, and a few others. Tasteofcountrystore.com is how to look for those and to maybe buy one yourselves. Last week's trivia question and correct answer coming now. We had Stefania Spampinato. Stefania Spampinato. She plays Bella, who is Dan Morell's wife on Landman. What is her most well-known role?
Oh, this is the one that you told me. They're like, you said that I would know. And then I said, ha 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 ha, no. So what is it?
Congratulations to Lori on YouTube, who knew correctly that Stefania Spampinato played Dr. Karina DeLuca on Grey's Anatomy, and also the Grey's Anatomy spinoff. She was a big part of that show for many years. She was also in the movie Ford vs. Ferrari, but it was the Grey's Anatomy character who I was looking for. And Lori, I've dropped a comment, responded to your correct answer on YouTube, so we'll be in touch there to make sure you get that t-shirt.
Dang. I didn't really ever watch Grey's Anatomy, so I will say I'm a little bit in the dark there.
Yeah, kind of the same here. New trivia question coming at the end of the podcast, and this one's sneaky.
Oh, okay. Well, before we get there, let's jump into the scene that was very transparent, I guess maybe is a good word, of understanding TL's wife, aka Tommy's mother. It was a really kind of clunky around the table scene. What? Why are you looking?
Clunky.
Not clunky as in the sense of like awkward or heavy. I don't know. It just was like, holy crap.
Okay, let's back up just a second here to set the table a little bit. We finally get the funeral scene. The whole family goes up to Canadian Texas for Dottie's funeral. This is Tommy's mom, TL's wife, and it's Tommy, Angela, Ainsley, Cooper, Ariana is there, and we'll get to that in a moment. But also Dale and Nathan come to show some support for Tommy, which is nice. They go to the funeral. The funeral was sort of uneventful, right? TL chose not to speak. We did get to see a brief picture of what Dottie looked like. She was a beautiful woman when she was young. And then they go to a restaurant, I believe, called The Bucket, a real place, right down the road from the funeral home to have that traditional post-funeral meal. The wake, I guess you might call it. Everybody orders foods. And finally, Ariana breaks the silence and says, are we not going to talk about her? When you go to a funeral, you talk about the person who's deceased. You share stories and things like that. Tommy is like, fine, I'll bite. And he tells a story in which he shares a memory from when he was 14 years old and walked in the house and found his mom face down in a bathtub. He revived her with help from 911. She proceeded to puke on him and then recognized who he was, bring her foot back and kick him right in the face.
Yeah.
He packed his stuff up and left. That was the last time that really he was in that town or that he saw his mom, perhaps at age 14. And this kind of speaks a little bit to what he's been saying all along about how difficult his childhood was and how bad of a mother she was.
And I will say the word that I really meant to say, and it's coming to me now, it's heavy. I think you get through that scene, you do get, I understand why he has a little bit of it, even with TL. I mean, I know this is about his mother, but I get the kind of hand being held like this towards even TL and, really having to break that down in order to even let him come and have a relationship now.
When Ariana says, "Are we going to talk about her?" Were you like, "Yes, girl, go," or were you like, "No, we don't need to talk about her"? Like at a funeral, I'm generally the don't talk about him guy. Let's just keep the train rolling because no one really wants to cry. But I know some people might have been like, "It's the right thing to do."
I'm team talk about him.
Yeah, I figured you were. You have a real team talk about him look about you.
She really wants to clear the air and walk down memory lane. Yeah, she wants to cry. She wants a good cry.
Okay,
Yeah.
so after Tommy says his piece, TL begins to talk about how when he was much younger and he fell in love with his wife, he shares this story where she got out of the car and was dancing amongst the rainbows on a football field. There were sprinklers going. It's really beautiful. It's tender, it's sensitive, and you find why he really kind of fell in love with his wife. And while he continued to love her and hoped she might kind of come back to her, I think it's through that you kind of definitively figure out that she suffered from some pretty severe addiction issues, alcohol, drugs, and things like that. And TL handled it by just leaving the family, essentially,
Yeah.
and leaving Tommy to take care of himself.
Which is just so heavy. And
But
you
it gets
can tell.
worse.
Yeah,
It gets heavier.
Yeah, it does get heavier. Continue, Billy.
At the very end of the episode, we finally get the payoff. And this is a conversation between Ainsley and
No,
Tommy where,
Angela.
yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
no.
Sorry. Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you.
It's Ainsley and Tommy where Tommy reveals that he had a sister who died at 4 months old from SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. And after that, Tommy's mom was just beside herself. She was drowning the rest of her life and dealt with it with alcohol. So her behavior has some merit, or at least has a reason or an explanation. And you really start to feel for really the whole family situation because they were dealt a pretty bad hand.
Also, real quick, are we still live? I think, okay, we're still live. I just realized, I
We are
feel like
still live.
okay. Sometimes our comment section keeps going, and I realize we haven't. I just have a little PTSD from the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, big welcome to James and Johnny who have found us, and a number of other people have as well. Chad, I see you. Thanks,
great.
guys, for tracking us down because you really made you work for it today.
Truly.
We're going to try to
Thank
work
you.
some things out by next week.
Truly, thank you. Yeah, I guess I would say this episode in the scene that you're just talking about, I do think we got I think sometimes Tommy comes across as, there's not too many, we know that there's more layers to him, but we don't understand them, nor do we really get a privy behind the curtain. And I do feel like that scene, although heavy, made us better just understand of why we get this a little bit sometimes rough, lack of emotion man.
So it was this scene in particular in this whole sequence, which is why I thought it was one of the best episodes, if not the best episode of season 2. But you actually feel the exact opposite about this episode.
Well, I'm not saying like the episode as a whole. I think scene wise, this was pivotal and important. But there were other scenes of like, yes, we got that, and we can talk about it, but we loitered a lot on Ariana and Cooper, and I just didn't need like I understand that we did like for him to come back and be like, okay, I'm gonna go, and she's like, well, I'm gonna come with you. Like, yes, it was important because we see that they're rekindling their relationship and that all hope is not lost. But like the Rebecca scene, I'm trying not to give too much because we are going to talk about these things, but it just felt like some of the scenes just weren't, they didn't get me anywhere.
I'll agree with you that the Ariana Cooper kind of seems like they sort of rushed back together. But the alternative is what we had in 1923, where it took 10 episodes for Homegirl and Brendan Sklender's character, whose names I cannot believe I'm forgetting, Spencer and Elizabeth? No. Not Elizabeth.
No.
Spencer and gosh.
Oh my gosh.
It took forever them to get back together. So I'll take this over that.
Alexandra. Sorry.
Alexandra. Yes, thank you.
That was going to drive me nuts.
Here's some other things I liked, and there's a couple of. I want to sit with this funeral sequence for a few more minutes because there's a couple of little Easter eggs I picked up that I wondered if you did as well. The first of all being like, I'm seeing more and more parallels between Yellowstone and Landman, and
Okay.
starting with like this emotional scene with a father. Both Tommy Norris and John Dutton lost a sister at a very young age, after which their mothers both spiraled out of control wildly. I mean, obviously they shared an episode title at one point this season. And minus the flashbacks, the show's plot lines are sort of lining up. And I think as fans, we have to decide how we feel about that. I love it because it feels like a little subtle little hat tip to me every time it happens. Like, thanks for watching these shows. I could see how it would go too far at some point, and I'm hoping we're not on that track. But I could also see how people might think it's tired script writing, or it's a little bit lazy for Taylor Sheridan to kind of go back to the same well.
But I think if you're someone who, like us, who's watched every show essentially of his, we're coming back for a reason. So I think that we appreciate it. If I'm just watching the show for the first time, I'm not going to know, and I didn't watch Yellowstone, I'm not going to pick up on those things. So I kind of think you hit a good sitting on the fence situation of like, you're not, it doesn't annoy us because it's something like we like Taylor Sheridan's work for a reason. And then the people who weren't around for Yellowstone or might have even passively watched it, you're not going to pick up on it.
Fair. Okay. It's just something to keep an eye on. And the second thing I wanted to point out, that little small town of Canadian Texas, where they go for that funeral.
Yeah.
My gosh, that seemed random, didn't it? Like some random town of 900 people in the panhandle of Texas. And I thought it was terribly random. You're a Texas girl. Do you remember any news events from up that area within the last year or two?
No, I didn't even know that Canadian Texas existed. Like, let's go to Lubbock. Let's go to Abilene. Like, we can go other places in the Panhandle.
By the way, Mike just had a great concept. Sam Elliott's character will end up killing Andy Galino in the end. That'd be pretty cool. I could see that happening, and that would be awesome. But anyways, I digress to where I was going with Canadian Texas. It sits along the Canadian River. A year ago, there was a terrible fire that ripped through there. I believe it was called the Short Creek Fire. Gosh, I'm blanking on the name of it. The biggest wildfire in Texas history, destroyed millions of acres along the Panhandle, including about 30 homes and businesses in Canadian Texas. And if you remember that scene at the diner, TL talks about how his home burned in a fire. I think Taylor Sheridan was doing his folks up in Canadian a little bit of a solid, saying, "Hey, we got you. There's some good people up there. That restaurant that they ate at was a real restaurant." Maybe he was kind of doing his own sort of way to give back, and a little bit of a wink to those people who have been through a lot in the last 18, 24 months.
Yeah, put them more on the map again. Or just people start, I mean, look, I mean, us going, is there Canadian Texas?
Yeah.
He doesn't just passively do stuff. I think that was probably so intentional.
I think so as well. And I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a nice thing to do. There's all these little Easter eggs in here. We talked about the Cattleman Club being real, and we're going to talk more about that in a bit. The realtor that Demi Moore talked about, she's a real realtor, which I found kind of weird. Like, is that person paying for this sort of ad placement on the show? So it's bringing some sort of reality to the show. Maybe a little too much at times, but I loved the Canadian Texas hat tip.
Okay, I can't wait any longer. We've talked about so many Easter eggs, and I'm just dying. Can you tell me more about, because the scene that I just didn't personally understand was the Rebecca in an airplane scene. The way we talked about it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna crash. It wasn't that. It was essentially she got in one of these private jets that, yeah, they're small. If you've ever been in an American Eagle plane, you're gonna feel some turbulence. Not to the level that she experienced, but she gets on this plane with all these other, I don't know if they were all of the same company. It seems kind of like okay. I didn't know if it was like I don't know if you've heard of JSX, where it's a smaller plane similar to American Eagles, but it's more private. Anyways, it's a whole thing. Like you and I could go on it, but you're going to be with strangers. So I didn't know if it was that situation. I haven't been on it, Billy. So I just would like to clarify that.
I'm not even saying anything.
I knew the way that you looked at me, and then I thought the last episode, wrong
The
tax
Dutton
bracket.
Rules community is well versed in your bougie habits, but continue.
Okay, continuing. She gets on this airplane. The pilot says, "Hey, it's some pretty bad winds, so FYI, we're gonna get some turbulence." Here we learn that Miss Rebecca, although she's a badass, I don't know if I can say that. Although she's a baddie, she is terrified of flying. Like she gets actual anxiety over that, and she's sitting next to the classic, the hot man, the younger one of the bunch. That's never how my airplane travels go, but whatever. And pretty much as the turbulence hits, she's screaming like a 3-year-old girl. She's grabbing his hand. He's like, actually grab my knee because you're taking every blood vessel out of my hand. So, you can kind of tell there's a little something going on with him
Sure.
potentially. Also, once again, why is this all important? Turbulence happens. I'm like, this is stupid because they didn't even crash. I was expecting a crash. And then we fast forward a little bit and she ends up sleeping with him. But because she had so many drinks to help with the flight anxiety, she doesn't fully remember it. Billy, make this make sense. Why was any of this necessary?
Well, in previous episodes of Landman, we've had Ainsley and Ansela giving comedic relief, and I think someone said it in the comments section as well. In fact, yeah, SM31156 that Rebecca was this episode's comedic relief. She was the break in a really heavy episode. And I think this also advances her character a little bit, right? Because she was a little one-dimensional. She was just kind of this boss woman who just was, I don't know, she was really kind of, I'm trying to think of the right word to send him, but we might all know the word I'm thinking of.
She wasn't, yeah.
But so I think they needed to kind of round her out a little bit and maybe tie her to the company or tie her to the area a little bit more. A love interest could certainly do that. It was funny. It was entertaining, those plane scenes. By the end there, she's like, wow.
That was funny. But I will say the screaming in the beginning, I was like, okay, this is I need to turn. I had my headphones in to listen and I was like, oh, no. It was a little much.
Yeah. How about that look on her face when she wakes up the next morning and she realizes where she's at and what she's done? She's like,
also, I want to know. He is the most put together man I have ever seen. The fact that clearly he's some type of entrepreneur in the maybe like not skincare, but like shampoo. I guess hygiene. Let's just say hygiene, because I'm like, I honestly don't fully know. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, is this plot going to thicken? Because I am kind of curious who this man is.
Okay, his name's Charlie. That's the name of the episode. And we know that he's from some of the previews and some of the information we received before the start of the season that he's an oil engineer. And we also know he's going to be at least a part of episode 8 as well. Oh. So he's sticking around, this dude. So I'm guessing probably the relationship maybe takes it off a little bit, which brings us to people's conspiracy theory about lawyer Rebecca Falcone.
Which is what?
By the way, first shout out to Susan, who identified herself. She was the one that said Rebecca was the comedic relief. She introduced herself. Susan, nice to meet you. Anyways, so actor Kayla Wallace just revealed she's pregnant. This was our big breaking news from several episodes ago, if you recall. Now she has this love interest. They're hooking up. Maybe during filming, people are thinking she had a little bit of a baby bump showing, so they needed to maybe get her pregnant to kind of justify that. Where are you at on that?
No, that actually would track, and that's brilliant because now they're going to do season 3 and season 4, and Taylor Sheridan's probably like, wait, crap. You can't hide that. We can't always shoot from, chest up.
Right.
Oh, for sure. She's going to get pregnant, and then that's going to be a whole storyline because she's actually
pregnant. Because of the way this season has been filmed, like one day at a time. right? We could be done with the season by 7 days from now, Landman time.
We might. Well, oh, that's true. I think we're not going to get like full pregnancy in this season, but we could be left on the cliffhanger of, oh, I'm
Right.
pregnant.
There you go. And that would set us up for next season because I think she just announced she's pregnant. She's due 2026, maybe filming. Yeah, I think you could be right there on that one. Kind of interesting. Did we get a chance to talk to Kayla Wallace last year when we did the interview? She seemed like a delightful human. No?
No, I wish. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
did we? No.
I don't remember.
I
A lot
don't
of
remember.
comments in the chat about the aroma pucks that Charlie had in his shower.
That's what it was. Yeah.
People. I'm actually glad they introduced those because I got some of those from like a gift from somebody at some point.
Did you really?
No idea. I have no idea what to do with them. I was just, but I see you put them on the drain. Cool.
Wait, that makes me feel better. I'm still my chat has never refreshed since talking about who we'd kill off. So I'm glad that people are actually commenting. So you'll just have to let me know because I can't see them. But I didn't realize that you had gotten sent those. That those are legit.
Yeah. They're a thing. That's a thing people do. Okay, we don't have to spend a lot of time on Ariana and Cooper. We both say we were right. We thought they would get back together last week, and they did.
That was the writings on the wall. You don't get rid of the romantic characters that people actually enjoy watching because Tommy and Angela are not the romantic characters that people are watching.
Yeah. I mean, she was mad. She's a little fiery. She kind of laid down the law. He kind of took it like a puppy dog. There was a great line where he's like, "I'm sorry, I struck oil and got rich."
All I'm going to be saying is I would not be Ariana. I'd be like, yes, okay, perfect.
Yeah, you're more of an angel. All right, fair enough. But they seem to be back together now, and she's
yes.
And maybe maybe that's where the next pregnancy comes. 2 babies in their lives. I don't know. Everybody making babies. A baby for you and a baby for you. You get a baby.
No,
You get a baby.
They need to no. That way, their lives are already stressful. Adding another child to the mix, like they need to just ground in their relationship. Ariana and Cooper.
James says, "Wouldn't you slip on one of those pucks?" Well, I mean, they go on the drain. I guess you got to be a little nimble. I don't know. I haven't used it yet. I'll let you know. That'll be my.
Why are you stepping on your drain?
Well, you walk around the shower maybe a little bit as you're reaching for the shampoo or something. I don't know. Like my shower drain is in the center.
Oh, you have like a shower. Sorry, ours is like the tub shower.
No, I got a standing.
Like, why are you anywhere near I'm like at that point, maybe physically getting into the shower. Anyways, let's talk less about the shower and more about. I did not watch the trailer for episode 5. Somehow I completely missed that was an option. Normally I'm like, let me look forward on some things, but what do we see?
Well, if we were doing it the way we usually do it, this would be a great opportunity for me to play the full trailer. So instead, I'm going to reenact it. No.
Oh, perfect.
All right. So this seems to be the episode. Remember from the trailer where they say insurance fraud, wire fraud.
Yes. Yes.
Think, oh my. Well, we find out. It turns out. Remember that lawyer that Rebecca met with a couple of episodes back about the
Maytag man
saying it. No, not Maytag man. The one that was on the table. She goes to the boardroom and meets him, and he ends up offering her a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's his voice that says that. So I think this is when Cami is getting into pretty big trouble. The episode is called The Pirate Dinner, and the description is Tommy juggles multiple crises, including an accident on M-Tex land and Cami's looming lawsuit. Angela throws a dinner to welcome TL. We've seen clips in the trailer of this pirate dinner because for some reason TL was wearing a pirate hat, so I'm kind of excited to see that. Promises to be pretty funny. I think the big thing that happens, though, for me, is at the end of the trailer, we see Dale, who is on the phone with Tommy, talking about a huge catastrophe. There's dead bodies everywhere. That's what it says. Dead bodies everywhere. And that can't be good. That's just not what you want.
That's not the phone call that you're ever wanting to hear. Interesting.
Trying to think of some other things to look for with this. I think that the bulk of it is probably going to be about Cami's increased legal troubles, and I think we'll probably spend a lot of time with TL at home as well. There's a little scene at the beginning of the trailer where TL is calling Tommy and he asks, "How's your day going?" And Tommy says something like, it's going terrible. And TL says, well, it's going to keep going bad with that attitude. So apparently TL, a little bit of an optimist. Who knew? It's kind of heartwarming. I'm going to drop a link to the trailer in the description section of this video when we wrap up, and you'll be able to watch it for yourselves, because it was a little hard to kind of sit and talk about it without the actual asset to play. And I apologize for that. But I think the big catastrophe is going to involve Dale when he discovers, because it just seems to be one thing after another for Tommy on the patch this season. And yeah, it's getting ugly.
I wonder if it'll have to be where all the men stay, the little cabins. Double wide's probably the better way to describe that. I wonder if it has to do with that location.
Dale appears to be on a well.
Oh.
Or by a well.
Okay, never mind.
Drilling equipment in the background.
Okay.
I didn't see Ainsley, didn't see Cooper and Ariana, so perhaps they're not in it too much. Side note, back to episode 4. Cami goes and visits her late husband at the grave and leaves a cigar. Did you see the bourbon that she pulled out and poured?
Was it top shelf?
Top shelf is an understatement. Like,
I know nothing about bourbon.
Huge bourbon fan. If anybody's listening, chime in here and tell me if I got this correct. It's a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle 23-year Family Reserve. This bottle of bourbon will probably cost you more than you make in a month.
Wow. And she's just spilling that out into some grass. Pour one out, honey. Maybe she's not a drinker and she's like, well, it's going to go to waste. I mean, you could sell that on Facebook Market probably, but I don't think she's hurting.
The excess. I'm just looking at her going, why? Why stop? No. Why would you do
Huh? Don't pour it. Give it to me, Cami. Give it to me.
Mike the Hog to be a bourbon fan. He says it's very expensive. I'm
going to, because you always, I just like sit back and I enjoy these episodes just as, a normal person. Billy puts his readers on, gets his binoculars, and then he watches it. So Billy, I'm going to try to do you justice. I'm going to look at this upcoming episode like you would look at it. I'm going to be pausing on that bourbon.
Okay. Let's see what you come away with. Let's see what kind of Easter egg. We'll compare notes at the end and see what kind of Easter eggs.
I'll probably have to watch it about 3 times.
Well, I do end up watching it multiple times because I watch it once and then I write the script for the video recap, and then I kind of have to go back through again to make clips for this podcast. So I do end up watching it several times, but I stop and start and write down time codes. And my notes are meticulous, like a page, 2 pages of notes. That's not uncommon for me.
I hope one day you can meet Taylor Sheridan and we can talk about this. You might get hired.
Someone wants to know if Ariana will ever make it to a family dinner. You gotta think so eventually, right?
I think so. Yeah, that one feels like a light lift of possibilities to happen. Married, I don't know, but family dinner, absolutely. Staff at tasteofcountry.com if you have any theories of potentially what will happen come episode 5. Send them there for us. Thank you again just for staying with us. Technical difficulties are always hard when we are not IT, but we try our best, Billy. I really was just passenger princess in all the IT problems. Billy was troubleshooting, so
thank you for just listening to the audio version. We did have some technical difficulties with YouTube, but the audio version should be on time and as usual, and we cleaned that up a little bit. So we appreciate you listening there and the follows, and my gosh, leave a review. We haven't gotten a review in a really long time. I'd love to see what people are thinking out there. Not that I'm begging to be, reviewed and sort of justified here, but it'd be nice to kind of pump the podcast score up a little bit.
I am. I'm looking for it. Well, let's jump into some Q&A we grabbed from last week. The first one is from Linda, who says the Cattleman restaurant had been in business for many years. Taylor Sheridan bought the restaurant, of course he did, and remodeled it and started the club. oh, in my opinion, he has ruined the restaurant for what it used to be. I've never been. Now I'm fully intrigued. I will say, and this is no knock to Taylor Sheridan, but when you live in a smaller town, and I even saw this in Austin, Texas growing up, of like places that were so mom and pop, and then you had someone or a company with a lot of money come in and buy it and try to make it better. But you're like, oh, but the quaintness of it, it's gone. Taylor Sheridan is a businessman. He's probably really not looking to keep, I don't know,
So
what it used to be.
the old owners did stay on to a certain degree. This sale took place in June of 2025. Taylor
Oh,
Sheridan has
recently.
tried to preserve. Yeah, this is just within the last few months. He's tried to preserve the menu a little bit, and I did find out a
Okay.
little bit more about how much Cattleman Club costs for a regular person, just a human. $3,000 plus a $1,000 initiation fee. So $3,000 a year plus 1,000 to get initiated. I don't know what
Okay.
initiation means, but that kind of makes me think like fraternity initiation, which probably isn't great.
No, you always have to have like a founder's fee, or I feel like that's with anything. Like when I joined the YMCA, I had like an initiation fee, and I didn't go through any hazing.
Didn't haze you at the Y.
They didn't go drop and give me 50. So I think
That's
that's
just
just,
a load, isn't it? Isn't that kind of a load of crap where they ask you to pay a little fee at the top just for the right to be a member?
and that
What a
probably
fallacy.
covers really nothing.
Yeah, no, I tend
Like
to
the
agree.
the 1,000 in the grand scheme of things is not like, oh, I'm contributing so much.
Yeah. Um,
All right.
by the way, the next round of trivia will come after Q&A here, so keep going, then we'll do trivia.
R. Jenkins says, do you have information on Taylor Sheridan's NBC Universal contract? Does he own these shows or Paramount?
R. Jenkins is on the stream, I believe, and I appreciate that question. It actually might be from a week or two ago. He's moving to Universal, and the answer to that question is no, he does not own these shows on Paramount. Did we ask this question last week? Sounds vaguely familiar. So I'll quickly go through.
Yeah. We talked, it wasn't last week. I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
When Taylor leaves Paramount, the shows will stay with Paramount, which means someone else can take them over. We don't have to worry about that till 2029. And any
Yes.
shows he starts well with Paramount will stay there.
Boom. Last one I have for us is from William, who says Taylor Sheridan has a real problem with finishing his stories with a positive bit of closure. He has a tendency to write himself into a dark corner and not able to write a way out of that corner, which leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
At times, yeah. I mean, it hasn't happened in every show he's done. Linus has been great for 2 seasons. I wouldn't say the problem with Tulsa King necessarily that he wrote himself into a corner. Certainly did with Yellowstone, and we'll see where Landman goes. 1923, I think, probably could fall under that category, if only because he was asked for a full second season, and really there was only enough content for about 4 episodes. So yeah, he's not a perfect writer. I don't think you can watch all these shows and think he's just this god of television. But when he's good, my gosh, there's just some great screenwriting. He's one of the best. Getting a lot of questions in the stream about Madison, the Madison.
Oh, yeah.
And I was actually just looking into that before we signed on. No official news to report there. The show just seems to be in a holding pattern. I think it's filmed. We know it stars Michelle Pfeiffer, Kurt Russell. It might be kind of being delayed by all these changes going on with Paramount and the sale. So I think it's coming, but like no one's really said when, and it doesn't. No one's even really talking about it for 2026 either. Although, as I said, this Mike says it's filming season 2. Maybe, but when's season 1 running? I don't know. I'm as confused about Madison as anybody else, I guess.
The last one, oh no, actually that's it. Just kidding. That's all I have for us today, but let's get to trivia.
trivia this week for one of those great Dutton Rules t-shirts, staff at tasteofcountry.com. And you can find the Dutton Rules merch at the Taste of Country store. If you Google Taste of Country store or go to tasteofcountrystore.com, you can find one of those t-shirts. We select one winner from all winners. And I really like this trivia question this week. What is Cami's late husband's full name? First,
Why?
middle, last. You watched last episode, they showed it.
Yeah, on the tombstone, but now I'm gonna have to go back.
I'll tell you what's interesting about the tombstone, and I don't know if anybody caught this. His date of birth was March 10th, 1968. The actor who
Okay.
played him, John Hamm, also born on March 10th.
That had to be serious. That had to be like intentional.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Okay, I was like, wait, we're not questioning this, right?
No, I'm not questioning it, but it's just kind of a little bit of a hat tip, I guess. Hey, we stumped Johnny, who's checked in a little bit late today. Appreciate him joining. He doesn't know the answer to this one off the top of his head, which it's been a while since we did that. So, gotcha.
Well, y'all, thank you truly so much for tuning in and always being here and to watch even when we have technical difficulties. Don't forget Spotify, Apple Podcast. That's where you can listen to the audio version. If you're feeling generous, I mean, it's the holiday season, am I right? So if you're feeling generous, leave us a review, all the stars, all the things. I will be happy. Billy's saying it's all good if you don't want to. I'm saying please do. Just being honest. And on that note,
I have to pay for my aroma puck somehow.
Yeah. Y'all, truly, thank you so much for tuning in. The the Dutton Rules podcast is, yeah, Billy, why do you look at me like that? I was doing okay. Okay, hold on, y'all. We're doing this again. The Dutton Rules Yellowstone franchise podcast is another persistent Town Square Media podcast.
Well, very appropriate.
Right? Bye, all.
Now watch awkwardly as I try to figure out how to stop this thing because I've never done a podcast from mobile before. I think it's this button.
I think it's the X, or I can leave and then maybe I'll stop it.